G'day, welcome to another episode of Toxic Revisited. I haven't done one of these for a long time. In fact, it's been over a year. And I thought I would continue to mount my case against salmon farming activism and dodgy science through the peer review series. But this time, the activists have come back to fiction. And so welcome back to Toxic Revisited. Now, Richard Flanagan himself doesn't actually feature in this episode, but Bob Brown, who acclaimed Richard's award-winning book of non-fiction as a wonderful piece of literature, certainly is front and centre. Only in the last few days, Bob Brown himself posted a video on the Bob Brown Foundation X page, so I presume they also posted it on Facebook and others. And let's have a look at it and listen to what Bob is talking about.
Bob Brown, and I'm sitting here on beautiful Randalls Bay Beach in southern Tasmania. Out there, multiple salmon fish pens from the foreign salmon industry. But right here, the waters in this bay are beautiful. Hundreds of people here in recent days, it's holidays, with their kids and their dogs swimming. But look here, it's gone, instead of fishing here, to a bird dropping something. What is this? It's scattered along the beach and it's worrying people. It looks like pollution, doesn't it? Is it an algal worm? We'll find out soon. This can occur in nature, but they're heightened along by pollution, which raises the nutrients in the water, and of course, increasing warm weather. So, what's behind this latest pollution wash-up at this beautiful southern beach? Is it the salmon fish farms? That's likely so. Should be happening. It should be exploring people's holidays. It should be telling people to pay for fish farms. Government of Tasmania, come and have a look at this. We've got some explaining to do.
The day after that video was posted, an article appeared in the Mercury discussing the issue. And a day after that, another article appeared in the Mercury. This time our friend Peter George talking about this mysterious pink salmon-coloured algal bloom appearing on all these local beaches. And it was nominated that the beach, in addition to Randalls Bay, where Bob Brown saw it, was Little Roaring Bay and also Little Taylor's Bay. So I decided to head to Randalls Bay and to Little Roaring Beach to check out this mysterious pink algal bloom, because I was convinced that they were making it up. So here I am at Randalls Bay Beach, only 2 days after Bob Brown released his video demonstrating the horrible pink algal bloom. So I'm on the track of it, but I can't find any yet. But we'll go a little bit further around and have a look at some rock pools and see if we can see any. So no sign of any algal blooms, definitely no pink algal blooms in these waters. So I'm just wondering, where could that have come from, and is it possibly another setup? Let's go to Little Roaring Beach, where apparently the algal bloom has also been spotted. So this is Little Roaring Beach, another location where this mysteriously salmon pink algae has been spotted. So we'll have a look around and see whether there's any here. Again, it's low tide, so we've got lots of rock pools. And if it's here, we should be able to see it. So again, here at Little Roaring Beach, no sign of this mysterious salmon pink algae that's causing this terrible bloom. Just again, that's another example of the only evidence of these terrible environmental disasters being provided by activist groups, and no one else can seem to find evidence themselves. And with no evidence of any algae at either Randalls Bay or Little Roaring Beach, I was indeed convinced that they were making it up. So I'm heading home from Little Roaring Beach, convinced that again that the activists had made up this story about this toxic pink salmon algae, and I drive past here. And bugger me, the bay is pink. Not for very far out, a short way out, maybe about 20 metres. And unfortunately, not heeding Bob Brown's advice, there were kids and people swimming in it. And I thought, yeah, bugger. I was going to have to stop this video. It was true, and it was just a horror story. Now, I would have filmed it, but that day itself was a horror story. At Randalls Bay, I flew my drone into a tree and destroyed it. It's $500 and something down the drain. I got actually almost run over. In fact, I got hit by a car in Huonville. And by the time I got here, the battery in the camera was completely flat. And so I couldn't get that footage. So again, as I thought, that was it for this video. So why was I convinced that they were making it up? Well, let's just say that they've got form. A few months ago, newly elected member for the House of Assembly, Peter George, the independent who basically just anti-salmon farming campaigner, he stumbled across some fish guts on a beach at Verona Sands. And immediately, as he does, runs to the press with the horror story of salmon guts being washed up on the beach. Of course, there was no independent verification for that, just a couple of shots taken by Peter George and one of his mates of some supposedly fish guts. But the mercury ran with it. Now, those fish guts, if indeed they were fish guts, could have probably been pretty much anything. I mean, they could have been salmon. Unlikely though. I mean, you think you would have found something more than just the guts of a salmon on a beach. They could have been squid. They could have been flathead. Who knows what they could have been? And as any good detective would say, you really have to eliminate the obvious before jumping to the conclusion of the not so obvious. I mean, fish guts on a beach? No one ever who goes recreational fishing guts their fish and chucks the guts back in the sea, do they? But no, it must have been Atlantic salmon. So why was I sceptical about the Peter George fish guts claim? Well, it goes back to this time last year when a pretty awful event occurred in the waters just out behind me. Last year in summer there was a horrible bacterial outbreak of Pisciraccia salmonis, which killed about 5,000 tonnes worth of salmon And unfortunately, the salmon died so quickly that they weren't able to be retrieved before some of them started decomposing, and globules of salmon fat washed up on a couple of local beaches. Also, apparently, some actual fillets or remains of dead salmon also washed up on beaches. But the only pictures available of those were ones taken by Neighbours of Fish Farms and the Bob Brown Foundation. And the actual NRE report on the salmon mass mortality event indicated that there were no whole fish carcasses found on the beaches. Which begs the question, how did those very obviously fillets of salmon end up on those beaches? So that's why I was sceptical of Peter George's fish guts claim, and sceptical of the pink algal bloom claim. But the story about the pink algal bloom gets a lot more interesting. Only yesterday, it was revealed that the pink algae was not caused by salmon farming. It was reported as such by the ABC in detail, citing the work of Professor Gustav Hallegrath from the University of Tasmania. Dr. Hallegrath said the organism is running out of food, and then when it does so, it floats to the surface. If the wind comes on shore, and also if it's calm weather like we have now, it floats inshore and breaks down very, very quickly. Most of the nutrients that feed this algae actually come from offshore in the deep sea, and they feed off nitrate, naturally occurring nitrate from the what's called the Southern Ocean upwelling, rather than from land runoff or from salmon farms. Quote from Dr. Hallegrath, he said, "That is a nutrient that does not necessarily come from salmon farms." And in the risk scale, he says that on a scale of 1 to 10, this Notaluga would be a rating of 1, and the phenomena in South Australia would be a rating of 10 plus. There is a slight concern whether this algae is competing with food for other organisms, but he hasn't seen any evidence of it. So for now, it's a spectacular light show, thanks to this beautiful sea sparkle algae. And apparently on a second social media video, Bob Brown agreed. At night on a beach like this, you see marvellous patterns of light, he said. Didn't actually post that onto the Bob Brown Foundation X feed, did he? And it was also written up with an article in the Mercury, which again explained the source of the pink algal bloom. And it was covered in Pulse Tasmania, which chose to use a really interesting photo. Because the photo was taken by Dr. Lisa Ann Gershwin. Yes, our old friend. And interesting and ironic that the work of a known anti-salmon farming campaigner can be used to prove that something which was claimed by anti-salmon farming campaigners was not caused by salmon farming. Refreshingly, the Mercury, in addition to its article, also published an editorial entitled "Round Up the Crying Wolf."
Environmental vigilance is essential in a state like Tasmania, where clean waterways underpin not just our environment but our economy, our culture and our way of life. Community groups and environmental organisations have long played a crucial role in monitoring changes in rivers, bays and coastal waters, often spotting issues before authorities can. That contribution deserves respect, not dismissal. But vigilance must be matched with responsibility. The recent alarm over a pink algal bloom in southeast Tasmania is a timely reminder of the damage that can be done when concern turns too quickly into certainty. Before laboratory testing had even been completed, activist groups and a state MP publicly raised fears about environmental harm and human health risks. Testing by the Department of Natural Resources and Environment Tasmania confirmed the bloom was Noctiluca scintillans, and naturally occurring, harmless phytoplankton commonly known as sea sparkle. Far from being toxic, it is famous for producing spectacular bioluminescent displays, and authorities have stated there is no known link between its appearance and Tasmanian aquaculture. That clarification matters. Tasmania has seen genuine harmful algal blooms before, both here and interstate, with real ecological and economic consequences. Confusing those events with benign natural phenomena risks undermining public trust, not just in industry, but in environmental advocacy itself. This is where politicians and activist organizations need to tread carefully. Point scoring, inflammatory language, and premature conclusions may generate headlines, but they also risk crying wolf. When every unusual environmental event is framed as a crisis before the facts are known, the public may become desensitized or skeptical when a real threat emerges.
And it was ironic that just below that Mercury editorial criticising the anti-salmon farming campaigners for basically making up a story and crying wolf, was published a letter to the editor from a member of the public doing exactly the same thing. And I find it also incredibly ironic that Bob Brown's final words in his video say, so Bob, I think you've got some explaining to do. So if you've enjoyed this episode of Toxic Revisited, please click like, please subscribe. Hit me up in the comments below, particularly if you've seen some of the algae glowing at night, that would be great. And yeah, it was a year since I did the last one, and who knows, it could be a year until I do the next one. Thanks for watching. Well, irony of ironies, as we head down the hill from Little Roaring Beach back home, we come up behind a car bearing, I'm not sure if you can quite make it out, but very obviously a Neighbours of Fish Farm sticker. You're not exactly welcome here, you know, guys. But just like Randalls Bay and Little Roaring Beach, a day after the toxic pink algal bloom, the water is as crystal clear as ever.